Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy, presented by Yamaha.
Fading left. Oh, damn wind. Here he comes. Hey, oh, that was sweet, man. That was sweet.
Thanks for being patient.
There's a fishing pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, and it's the Everglades National Park and Flamingo, of course. There is no fishing hole quite like this one, located on the southernmost tip of the Florida Peninsula, where the mangrove marshlands meet the great estuary of Florida Bay. We pole across the clear, shallow water flats. There are more than just the cruising sharks searching for an easy meal. The redfish are here too. You can catch fish here on just about any given day.
There's a fish going to the left, just past that rip at 11 o'clock.
Tim is just going right down this edge of this channel, blind casting his spoon. Boom. Oh God, look at all of them with him.
Did you see the redness in the water?
Yeah. You know, Tim, the thing that's so awesome about redfish is that in Florida, as well as a lot of those Gulf Coast states, we catch them all year round. You know, and I think one of the mistakes that people make when they're fishing for redfish is that they don't understand how they need to change their tactics. Okay, we're fishing with spoon, we're fishing soft plastic, you know, trigger X jerk baits, because we're fishing in places where it's real shallow, fish are tailing. Fast forward to November, December, we're in the month of October, November, December, what could end up happening is we get a cold front, and then you get into an issue or situation to where it's just all, you know, shrimp on the bottom, on sand. These fish get out of these grass flats, and it becomes a real big problem. You know what I mean?
I think people have to be flexible.
Yeah.
You know, that's the key. You know, people get locked into catching one way, like on fly or a certain way, and it changes. I mean, the great thing about red fishing for us is we can catch them year round, and we can catch them, a lot of them year round. It's a great fishery, but you're absolutely right. It really changes. The water levels change, you know, so your tactics have to change with that.
And in Florida, you know, just understanding that a few degrees of temperature, you know, a few degrees of temperature can really become a win. Where the fish concentrate, they move to the sand, and they get on that sand bottom because it's more of a consistent water temperature. Remember, guys, that whenever you're thinking about red fishing, water that's this deep can heat up, and it can also cool off a lot quicker than water that's this deep. So then if you turn around and maybe go to 6 feet of water, the next thing you know is that's going to be more of a consistent water temperature during the winter time, and that's when you find those concentrations.
3, yeah, coming at you. Fading left now. Oh, damn wind. Here he comes. Hey, oh, that was sweet, man. That was sweet.
Thanks for being patient. It always helps when you have a patient guide.
The needlefish were chasing it.
Yeah, and he's like, wait a minute.
Wait, he came over and he like out hustled the needlefish.
Hey, stake us out, because when I get done catching this one. Hey Tim, you know, one of the things I want to talk to you about is you live in Isla Mirada in the Keys, but it's right on the eastern border of Everglades National Park. And I've been making a living in Everglades National Park First time I ever came here was in 1974. But what's so neat is the diversity that the park has to offer. You know, all the way up to the northwest, there's a little town called Chokoloskee, and it's primarily made up of stone crabbers and commercial fishermen, and that's in the very northwestern side of Everglades National Park, you know, 31 miles east of Naples. So, you know, one of the things that comes to mind is, you know, you have a big village of people that stone crab there. They also, you know, commercial fish, a lot of different species. But what is really neat is how big the park is, you know?
It's just giant, and there's so much diversity and so many things to do and so many different kinds of people use it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's really cool. You know, we do our thing and we do a lot of different things, but there's just a variety of people that use different aspects of the park or the areas in and around the park.
Right.
It's really cool, you know?
It is.
Hi, my name is Tim England. I'm with the Collier County's Museum of the Everglades here in Everglades City, Florida. What we know of Everglades today really started after the Civil War, where they came down as a fresh start to get land and, of course, the fishing resources. They could go from maybe even just subsistence living to actually a small business. We've tried to keep the old ways and traditions so a guy can come down, get a good bit of fishing in, relax, not have to worry about all the modern so-called conveniences that destroyed a lot of small towns. The Museum of the Everglades is just another part of the whole package. Where there we tell the history of Everglades and the 10,000 islands and how man's interaction is so important in the whole environmental picture of things. If you ignore man, then you cannot fix the environment. You cannot help save the environment. You can't enjoy the fishing, the hunting, which is all a serious part of our ecosystem, and the history hopefully tells people where we're doing it right and not necessarily where we're doing it wrong.
Sportsman's Adventures is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Williamson for the Pelagic Playground. Maverick Boats. Fish the Legend. Minn Kota. Anywhere, anytime. Humminbird. Simply, clearly better.
Yamaha's next generation V6 4-strokes are changing the game.
Mid-range power was awesome.
Fuel, the burn, it's unbelievable.
Couldn't believe the speed and the fuel economy is pretty impressive.
I mean, I couldn't believe the power. It was like it was more like doing a quarter mile on a drag strip.
And them things are like, it's a whole other game. So I made the switch.
Experience the difference for yourself during the Yamaha Discover V6 Offshore Demo Tour. See why we call it the Game Changer.
For years, they've quietly taken you where the fish are. But now the silence is about to break. With the incredible new iPilot Link, your Minn Kota and Humminbird can communicate with each other. So you can hold on a spot like an electronic anchor. Record and return to waypoints and paths. Follow any Lake Master depth contour and more, all automatically and all from your Humminbird or the Link remote. They talk and you'll be speechless.
The revolution continues. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers that launched the Bayboat Revolution. Whether chasing world records or time on the water with your family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder. #1 for a reason, still.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
Captain Tim Mahaffey has been flats fishing the Florida Keys, Everglades National Park, and Biscayne National Park for more than 20 years. Captain Tim is the only angler in history to win all of the 4 major fly fishing tournaments in the Florida Keys, and he did it with Captain Rick as his guide. Having done it all, Tim no longer competes on the tournament trail. Captain Tim is a full-time fishing guide and owes much of his fishing success to Rick. So on today's adventure, Tim takes the push pole and Rick gets the fishing pole.
Instabite. Nicely done. Oh, God. I think you ate it before you actually...
I think so too.
Stopped, clicked the bail over.
Well, you know, Tim, the thing is, when it's blowing like this, you can be a lot more aggressive.
Right.
And you're guiding now. This redfish is a very forgiving fish. When you put 15 mile an hour worth of wind on top of it, then you can become very, very aggressive and throw it in their face. And as you said, I mean, that Trigger X hit right in the fish's face, and before I could actually even put the reel in gear, he ate it. What's going on, bud? You all right?
Yeah, getting them.
You sure?
It'll be okay,
You can
Richie.
take that big rope off and just clip it. Take the big rope off. He's beginner guides.
What were you saying before you rudely interrupted me? One thing about redfish is great. You were talking about
how forgiving they are.
Right. I mean, even you can catch them.
Exactly. It's just so nice to have you polling me. I think of all the thousands of dollars that you spent with me through entertaining your customers.
I'm waiting for you to start spending some with me.
I don't have any customers anymore.
Look at that.
They're all guiding.
That wasn't... Oh, you're funny.
Now look at this fish, how blue his tail is.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they get that blue. I think that it's temperature based, but it's also their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
When they're in that tannic water, they get real tannic, an orange and real white belly, versus this fish is in a mullet mud. And that's one of the things that's so neat about the diversity of a redfish. They live in mullet muds. They'll get on the back of rays. Let's go ahead and unhook him and let him go, Tim.
Okay.
And they also, they get in big schools this time of year. Now, we're down in Everglades National Park in the month of October. We've had a little taste of a cold front come through. The wind's northeast about 15. Now, on the west coast, from here to Texas, guys, what you need to understand is when the wind blows out of the north, it's going to blow all the water out. And the water goes out a lot faster, and then when the incoming tide comes in and you get the tide against the wind, it'll also keep the wind out. So keep that in mind. Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, north wind, northeast wind, it's going to dump all the water out of those bays.
Gotta be an eat. Yeah, I think so.
That's so cool when they're facing away from you, and and the slide, you try to slide the shrimp by them,
It's when it's done like that, from back here in the perspective, I just know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You see it, you go, yeah, that's gonna work.
Now, Tim, as a guy, you certainly. They have redfish all throughout the Gulf region, from Texas all the way to Florida, and then certainly up into the Carolinas and Georgia. But this fishing, is really very, very good and forgiving for anybody who wants to fish for saltwater fish. It's a great fish.
It's, you know, our fishery here, and you've seen it. I mean, you fished here a lot longer than me. I mean, it's as good as I've seen it in my time here. And I think it's because of since the freeze. I mean, that seems to have opened up. I mean, with the snook kill and the baby tarpon kill, the redfish have thrived.
Right. Yeah, they you know.
They love it. You know, they love the cold. I think the lack of competition. Don't you think, Rick?
Absolutely. And then I think that there's those snook and Goliath groupers and the tarpon, Tim, were eating the small redfish fry.
Right.
Because the year that we had that cold snap, a lot of our fish were 16 to 20 inches, and now we're 2 years past that, coming up on 3 years, and look at how healthy this fish is. And I believe that fish was a fry in 2010.
Yeah. And they're growing. I mean, we see it like every 3 or 4 months. You see these fish getting bigger and bigger, and now they're a real fish.
Absolutely.
You know what's great about these fish is, I mean, everybody thinks redfish are easy, but you still have to be directional. You still have to put it on the plate.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you a great tarpon fisherman or a great bone fisherman, is doing a lot of this, a lot of casting.
And then that's the cool part about somebody who's a beginner to what we're doing is sight fishing here, poling along in real shallow water, and taking advantage of great polarized sunglasses, seeing the fish, throw into the fish, and then, you know, having to use the rod to steer your lure left or steer your lure right. And in this particular case, the Trigger X, you know. Chances are you spent a lot of time in the outdoors when you were growing up. Hours spent fishing, hunting, camping, hiking, or simply playing in the outdoors helped you get connected with nature. Sadly, today's children are disconnected from nature. They spend nearly 8 hours a day on their computers or watching TV, while the number of kids hunting and fishing continues to decline. And that's why the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, together with the Wildlife Foundation of Florida, created the FYCCN, the Florida Youth Conservation Center Network, to encourage kids to participate in the outdoors. A statewide network of conservation centers, the FYCCN features wild outdoor centers offering deep woods experience that connects to near outdoor sites in the communities where kids live. You can help kids learn to love the outdoors and become stewards of our precious outdoor heritage. You can help us create the next generation that cares. Go to fyccn.org to learn more.
Hold it right there. The Minn Kota Talon locks you onto a fishing spot with unmatched speed and stealth. And when Mother Nature tries to knock you off your mark, hit back with the strongest hold on the water. Talon, stand your ground.
Hi, I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using suffix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lobster van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Suffix 832.
Welcome to the Inner Circle. Rotating coverage up to 300 feet gives you a detailed 360-degree view of structure, contour changes, and fish. So you can see them before they see you. Introducing 360 imaging, only from Humminbird.
I got my first Yamaha in 1994, and I still use that outboard in the Bahamas today. This Yamaha 130 has over 2,000 hours on it, and it sometimes sits for 6 months. I can always depend on it starting and performing like it did when it was new. Everybody knows Yamaha stakes their reputation on reliability, and for me, that Yamaha 130 is living proof. So if you're considering a Yamaha, I can tell you that reliability and performance is something that you can count on for a long time.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Nicely done, Richard.
Dang, it's a big fish, Tim.
Huh?
It's a big fish.
Yeah. That was a great eat.
Oh, look at how they did, man, they love digging down into that grass, try to get you in the grass. You know, but...
Yeah. You're not gonna let them, are you?
Nope, we got a bulldog in back. Yep. Oh. Now, Tim, you know, the cool part about the way the FWC's managing these fish is they've broken the state down into 3 regions, a north, a central, and a south region now. And what that means, basically, is that you can, as long as the limit is 18 to 27 inches, you can take, in the north region now, the recreational fishermen can harvest 2 per person, versus in the central and in the south region, still only 1. And that's really working out great.
You know what? It has no impact on our fishery.
No, and they've got so many fish up there that it's crazy how many fish that they have.
Well, that might be the biggest fish you've caught today.
Yeah, that's a good one. Boy, he got it all the way down in the crushers. You know?
Good fish.
So, as long as that fish is between 18 and 27 inches, we can take him.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right?
Go ahead, Doc.
Let's see, I wonder how many times I've done this over the years.
Thousands.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, what a pretty fish.
He's a fat one.
Now, has he got a dot on his tail?
He does.
Okay, because sometimes they don't, you know?
Yeah,
they call that a false eye.
The one you caught earlier who had 30-some dots, look at him. He got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, they say that fish, that's that false eye. So if a fish, like a shark or a cuda, likes to eat the tail off, so they maybe come around to the other end, and the redfish get to see that, and they can
he just loses his tail.
Avoid the predator,
right.
You know? So, hey man, you got me on them here.
You're catching them, picking away at them, picking away at them. I think you're getting warmed up. Oh, sweet. That was beautiful.
You could see him swimming there.
He actually looked like he turned left, and then he saw it and came back to the left and just killed it.
Oh. You know, sometimes with a weedless hook, Tim, if you don't have enough gap, they'll bite down on the hook and then not be able to mash the bait down enough to get past where they get enough exposed, you know?
Way to hang in there, man. That was...
I've only had 45 shots and caught, I don't know, 8 or 9. It's just, you know, sometimes it just doesn't, I've had that many bites. I bet you I've probably had 15 bites.
You know, I mean, some people think that redfish are easy, and they are. They can be really easy, but this is pretty technical. I mean, you're in skinny water, you know, they're tailing, and you had to make the right cast, you know?
The thing that you also got to remember too is the kerplunk. Whether you're fly fishing, whether you're fishing with a spoon, whether you're fishing with soft plastics like this Trigger X, you get 2 or 3 shots where it kerplunks in their zip code, and what ends up happening, I think they know.
Yeah, you can tell, and they don't spook like a bonefish. They don't like we're leaving the zip code. A lot of times they just do it subtly.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over here. Get out of your way, you know?
Yeah, they don't leave like rude.
Yeah. Man, that was a fun couple of days. I gotta tell you.
You know,
we haven't done that in a long time.
I know. The thing that really makes it good is that we've been fishing together a long, long time, and I appreciate you letting me stand back here and cast and insulting me like I've been insulting you for years. That's what makes it fun.
I know. Well, I have like years and years of
material
that you've told me. So,
but more importantly, thanks for making this a great Sportsman's Adventures, Tim.
Both Rick and Tim have had great success fishing here at Flamingo. For Rick, it's like a second home. Tim has been a part of Rick's past and will continue to be a part of a great fishing future, because two friends fishing Flamingo always makes for another great sportsman's adventure. Check out the Sportsman's Adventures website at sportsmansadventures.com. Coming up next week on Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy.
We're looking for. Oh, beautiful fish.
Nice! Look at that
blackfin
grouper! Grab him, Ian! What are you waiting on?
Hold on, Rick. Hold on. Wow.
Hey, there we go!
That's what we were looking for.
Nice grouper!
Sportsman's Adventures was brought to you by La Jolla Resort, a place for families and fishermen. Costa Del Mar, see what's out there. Trigger X, Trigger the Bite. Ameritrail, custom trailer manufacturers. Contender Boats, performance through innovation. Suffix Lines, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And VMC, your expert in hooks.